I'm Jessica Sowers, owner of Body Bliss Connection.
I'm Jamie Marich. I'm a clinical trauma specialist, expressive arts therapist, author, and co-founder of Yoga Unchained.
I am also the co-founder of Yoga Unchained. Mountain pose, Tadasana. We'll begin by ensuring that our toes are pointed forward. Your feet can be about hip distance apart. Find that comfortable stance with the width of the legs. Let's begin by lifting the toes up off the ground, kind of wiggling them back and forth, and then pressing down into the mound under your big toe, the mounds under your little toes, and your heel. As you press actively down towards the ground, feel the quads or the thighs start to engage and become active. Next, we guide our awareness into our abdomen as we start to pull the abdomen inward, helping to lengthen the spine nice and tall. Melt the shoulders away from the ears by gentle squeeze together and slide them down towards the earth. Palms of the hands rotate forward as your fingertips actively press down towards the ground. Imagine that strand of pearls coming out of the top of the head as it guides the crown of the head taller, lengthening through the neck. And ever so slightly, we tuck the chin in. Very strong and active posture. The muscles are engaged as we inhale and exhale deeply. Jamie, how did that posture make you feel?
Mountain pose is one of my favorites. It always makes me feel very grounded, very present, very affirmed. I always feel like I have a positive affirmation, like I am strong or I am powerful come up in my head when I do that.
Good.
So what are some of the challenges you have seen people have with mountain pose in some of your experience?
A couple of the challenges in mountain pose are the locking out of the knees. So we want to ensure that people have soft knees, not necessarily bent, but soft. Also, the shoulder blades can be an issue. We tend to like to have our shoulders attached to our ears, so we want to engage and pull them down, but we also don't want to over-engage by squeezing those shoulder blades too firmly together. We want just a gentle engagement with the fingertips rotating and reaching down.
So how does this pose make you feel?
This pose is really good for me. It makes me feel very connected and grounded. It gives me a good connection to the earth. It helps me to find my balance, and it kind of makes me feel like I'm really here. It gives me that point of belonging to this earth.
And that's one of the reasons I find a lot of clinical usefulness with this pose, working with clients individually or in groups. Really, it is a way to essentially teach standing meditation, what it is like to be mindful here, now, and present in this standing form, which can serve you in places like, let's say you're standing in line at a store and you're getting very impatient and your head is wandering. This can teach you that kind of healthy self-awareness. I'm here, maybe working with attitudes like patience or non-striving. I mentioned healthy assertiveness, which is, let's say you're at a difficult family function or you're at court or something like that. Just coming into this essentially more mindfully engaged posture can help with that sense of inner confidence. I mean, it can. It's certainly worth a try. Something I really liked about the way you instructed it with the modification is make sure the feet and the legs are hips distance apart, especially for larger body types. I think that's really important. So I've been in classes before where the teachers have instructed, like, keep the feet together. I think that creates knee lock.
It can.
For many people. And for larger body types, you get, I think, better effect of the pose if you are with a little bit more wider hips. And yeah, I just like how you. So any other modifications or teaching points we need to keep in mind?
Yes, a couple of things. Again, you want to make sure about the knee locking. You want to have soft knees. But a modification that you can also utilize for someone that may not be able to stand for long periods of time is a chair. Have them sit into the chair. Their backs off of the back of the chair so that they keep the length through the spine. They can connect down through their sits bones, which helps to give them grounding, but also to connect down through the feet. And if the legs are a little short like mine, then I also roll up a blanket or put blocks under so that I bring the earth to my feet so I can find that groundedness through that.
Books work really nicely, or I was recently doing a training where there were some old VHS tapes hanging around the training room, which worked as they don't really have a lot of use anymore, but they work nice as blocks. And it's interesting you mentioned the sits bones, because even though they're obviously engaged when you're in the seated version, you could even be mindful of them when you're standing.
Yes.
And let's talk about the wall modification that some people may like.
Wall modification is good for those who may have some balance issues. where standing can be a challenge for them. So you want to be mindful where the feet are placed, and you want to ensure that the heels aren't up flat against the wall, but out an inch or two, so that the rest of the body is just gently supported by that wall. And you can find all of those same points of connection and length through the spine, but take some of the balance effort out of this posture by utilizing the wall.
And I really feel that sits bones engagement here. Yeah, you mentioned balance, or also people who may struggle with standing for longer periods of time.
Right.
This can still give you some of the benefit of the pose in a way that's hopefully more accessible to you.
Yeah.
So, mountain pose, everybody.
Thank you.